We're going to work backwards. So for this lesson, we're first going to get just organizing myself. All right, so for this one, you're going to be given the graph or information. You have to come up with the equation. So you're not going to start with the equation. So remember, for a horizontal one, it's x minus h squared over a squared, subtract y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. That's horizontal. For the vertical, the y comes first with the k, and a belongs to it. And then x minus h squared over b squared is equal to 1. So hk is the center, where a is the distance from the center to the vertices. B is the distance from the center to the minor vertices, or the co vertices. So you're going to be given a graph, and you need to come up with that equation that comes with it. So it's going to be important to understand the center and to know where A and B is on our graph to be able to write that down. So what's the center for this hyperbola? So start how many right, how many up. So our center, I'm going to put that right here. Our center is at 4, 2. A, notice it's sideways, so it's 1 to the right, 1 to the left. B, that is 1, 2, 3 up, and 1, 2, 3 down. And that's all I need. So it starts with x. So it's x minus 4. And that would be over 1, but I don't need to put it over 1. Then it would be y minus 2 squared. And then I square 3, that's 9. And that's equal to 1. And this equation matches that hyperbola. All right, let's try it again. Number 2, find the center of this. So how many left and how many up for the center? So count. And the center is at -5 and +1. What does A equal? So from the center, how many to the right? That's 2. From the center, how many up? That's also 2. So that's all I need. So we're going to start with x. So x plus 5 squared, square A, and that's 4. Subtract y minus 1 squared, square 2, that's 4, and that's equal to 1. Done. Number 3. Find the center. So find the vertices and then just find the middle of that. And go how many to the right and how many down. That's 3 and -3. A, the distance from the middle to the vertex, the center to the vertex. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's A. B, the distance from the center to the outer box. Count that. That's 7. And now put it all together. So remember, y is going to come first. That's because it's vertical. So it's y. So it's y, and it's +3 when you change the sign. And then the a squared, and it's 16. X, it's x subtract 3. Square the 7, that's 49, and that's equal to 1. Excellent job. Number 4, what's the equation of this hyperbola? Find the center. So see the vertices, find the middle of them. And go, what's the distance up and what's the distance down from that right there in the center? So first of all, the center is at -2, -6. Or -6, -2. It's a vertical, so our A, what's the distance up or the distance down, and count it, that's 5. B, what's the distance to the right and left, that's 3. And now put it together. So the y is going to come first, so it's y plus 2 squared. And then square the 5. Subtract x plus 2. No, we did that one. X plus 6, that's the x coordinate. Square the b, that's 9, and that's equal to 1. Turn the page. Can you write the equation, not off a graph, but just information given about it? So you do need to find the center, and you need to use the vertices or co-vertices to find A or B. And you might have to use the foci and the equation to find the foci for a hyperbola. Notice the equation here, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Didn't tell you, but that's obviously the Pythagorean theorem too. All right, let's start. Vertices. So to find the center, and I know the vertices, you're going to find the average. You're going to add them and divide by 2. 9 and negative 3 is 6. Divided by 2, that's 3. Negative 2 and negative 2 is negative 4. Obviously, divided by 2 stays the same, negative 2. A, notice, is it the y or the x's? It's the x's that changed. So add them and divide by, or find the distance, I'm sorry, from the x coordinate of the center to either one. That distance, 3 to 9, is 6. The conjugate axes is the minor axes. Divide that by 2. That's what I was going to say. That's 14. And now that's all you need. So we have x to begin with because it's horizontal. So it's x subtract 3 squared. 6 squared is 36. Subtract y plus 2 squared. 14 squared, that's 196. And that's equal to 1. All right, let's try again. The co-vertices work like the vertices. So for the center, you just find the average, the midpoint. 3 and negative 13 is negative 10. Divide by 2, and that's negative 5. And the y is the average, just be negative 9, so they don't change. The A and the B. So first of all, because I'm given the length of the transverse, that's the major axis, half of 26 is 13. To find the B, take the y coordinate, take the x coordinate, and go to the x. So from x to x, what's the distance? From negative 5 to 3, that's 8. And now you have everything you need. Make sure you understand what type this is. So for the co-vertices, the x change. That means the major axis is the y. So we're going to start with y. So it's y plus 9 squared, and 13 squared is 169. Subtract the x, that's x plus 5 squared. That's over 64, and that's equal to 1. All right, number 7. The vertices are given, so the center then, 3 and negative 5, that is negative 2, divided by 2 is negative 1. The y's don't change, so that's just negative 3. Those are the vertices, so your A goes with the x. So that x to the x, negative 1 to 3, that distance is 4. Your B, the co-vertices are also given. But to find the length of the B, take the y's, 4 and negative 10. That distance is 14, but you have to divide by 2. That gives you 7. So find the distance of the y's and divide by 2, and that gives you what you need. Understand what type of hyperbola this is. So the main vertices, the x coordinates change. So it's horizontal. So it's going to be x plus 1 squared. And then 4 squared is 16. Subtract y plus 3 squared. 7 squared is 49. And that's equal to 1. Keep going. Number 8. We have vertices. So the center is at negative 4. Add them up. That's negative 2. Divide by 2. That's negative 1. Our A. And notice the y's change. So from y coordinate to y coordinate, negative 1 to 11, that distance is 12. To find B, look at the y coordinate. How long is we just did the y's, right? Look at the x coordinates. So we can go negative 4 to 3 or 3 to negative 11. Either way, that distance is 7. So from negative 4 to 3 is 7, or 3 to negative 11 is 14 divided by 2. Which is also 7. Be careful, which one am I going to start with? So I'm going to start with the y. because that's the major. So it's going to be y plus 1 squared, and then 12 squared is 144. Subtract x plus 4 squared, and the minor 7 squared is 49, and that's equal to 1. Number 9. So again, my center, 8, add them up, that's 10, divided by 2 is 5. My A is the y, so 5 to 13, that distance is 8. Next, I'm given the foci. So the distance from the center to the foci, so that's 5 to 22. So 5 to 22 is 17. So it's 17 squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. That's what I'm doing. So 17 squared is 289. This is 64. Subtract 64, and you get 225. I don't need to take the square root because I want b squared. And now write the equation down. So remember the vertices? It's the y that changed. So it's the y. So it's going to be y subtract 5 squared. And our a, that's 64. Subtract x, subtract 8 squared. And then in the denominator, our b is 225. And that's equal to 1. Again, number 10. How do I find the center? Find the average. 10 and 14. 10 and 4, 14 divided by 2, 7. And then negative 8 didn't change. Our foci, well, first of all, what's our a then? So notice it's going to be the x coordinate here. So 7 to 10, that's 3. If we're going to do the foci, recognize how the foci is given here. Our c is what you see, the square root of 130, added and subtracted to the center. So the formula is c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. And then subtract 9. Now I don't need to simplify it, it's done. I don't need to square root it. So the equation then is, and again next time it's the x's that come first because the x's change for the main vertices. That would be x subtract 7 squared over 9 subtract y plus 8 squared over, now the denominator, b squared, that's 121, and that's equal to 1. Last page. Number 11. So the co vertices. So be careful here. We still can find the center. That's at 1. Add them. Negative 2 divided by 2. So it's at 1, negative 1. But this is b. So when I look at from negative 1 to 3, that distance is 4. That's for the minor. To find the major, I need the foci. Notice my c is going to be 2 root 5 for my formula. And now the formula, it's c squared. So 2 squared, that's 4 times 5, so that's 20, is equal to a squared plus b squared, which is 4. So 4 squared, 16. Subtract 16, and a squared is equal to 4, and that's it. So your co-vertices, your y changed. So our main vertices, our x would change. So it's x first. And our a squared, we said, is 4 minus y plus 1 squared. And our b, that's 16. When you square it, and that's equal to 1. Co-vertices again, center. Negative 5 to 1 is negative 4 divided by 2. Negative 3 would stay the same. Our b is the distance from negative 2 to negative 5, which is 3. Our formula, we need c, which is going to be the square root of 13 for the foci. And it's c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. And 3 squared is 9. Subtract 9, and a squared is equal to 4. Now the equation, which direction is it going? So the co-vertices, the x changed. So the main vertices, the y would change. The y starts. It's y plus 3 squared, and that's over 4, minus x plus 2 squared, and that's over 3 squared, which is 9, and that's equal to 1. 2 left. 13. The vertices. So if I'm given the vertices, I'm going to find the average. So 14 and negative 2, add them, that's 12 divided by 6. 0 didn't change. Those are a main. So A, the distance from 6 to 14, that's 8. C, oh, in this case I'm given the asymptotes. So if I'm given the asymptotes, I need to be aware that the slope is A over B, or B over A. I need to understand the slope that will give me what I need. So let me just change this quick. I don't need C. So 5 and 4. Now, first, I need to know if it's horizontal or vertical. So the main vertices are the x's. So that means that the A is the run. So 8 is the run. So if the slope is 5 over 4, and I just found that the same ratio, that the run is 8, what do I do at the top so that's the same fraction? And the answer is 10. I multiply it times 2. So now I found everything I need. And I know because it's the x's that change, I start with the x. So it's x minus 6 squared. And that's over 64. The y coordinate is 0, so it's just subtract y squared. And our b squared is over 100, and that's equal to 1. All right, here's our last one for our lesson, number 14. The co vertices are given. So what's the center? Add them. So 1 plus 5 is 6, divided by 2, and negative 1 didn't change. So our b, because it's co vertices, goes from 3 to 1, which is 2. I need to find the a. That's going to come from the slope. What's the slope here of that? So 1 over 2 is the slope, or negative 1 over 2. Understand what type of hyperbola this is. The co-vertices, the x change. That means the main vertices, the y is going to change. So if that's true, then a goes with the y over the x. Okay? So if b is 2, that means a must equal 1. 1 over 2 for the slope. Can you see how it matches? And now you just have to put the pieces together and put the equation down. So now be careful. Am I going to start with the x's or the y's? So notice the co-vertices are x's. The y's is what I start with for the main vertices. The y, so it's y plus 1 squared. And then what's a squared? It's 1. So I'll put it there, but I don't need it. Then x subtract 3 squared. What's b squared? 2 squared, that's 4. And that's equal to 1. Done. 15, no. 16, no. You did your work. Mr. G Math over and out. I am proud of you. Thank you for doing your work. I know this is not easy. It's good work to get through the algebra and understand something you've never done before. Anyways, until next time.